Think we in there like swimwear. Who used to say that, man? It was in there like swimwear.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've heard it before, but I don't know.
that's some throwback for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One, thank you for checking out the SBP. We are back this week. Apologize for last week. Your boy was a little under the weather, or I'm going to say a lot under the weather. Whereas I watched all of last week's events unfold from the comfort of my bedroom. So it is what it is. But as always, I am your boy, Prime Source. What's good?
Is that really a question you want to ask me right now, Prime?
Yeah, I mean, what's good?
What's good? Ain't nothing good, baby. We just out here doing what we do, you know.
Y'all out here being downright disrespectful. That's what that is.
Hey, bro, them people have been talking crazy all week. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all?
Some of everybody's out here talking crazy. I ain't talking crazy. I ain't that, but folks out here talking mad crazy, and y'all out here breaking the law. I mean, y'all just doing this crazy, disrespectful stuff. Then that's why I can't mess with y'all, man, because we can't never have nice things, right? Folks last night thinking they're gonna be able to go out and order pizza and get the wings popping. We're gonna have a nice, entertaining football game. And then some folks want to ruin it for everybody. I hate you, Philly people. I do.
Yeah, it be like that sometimes, Brian. Sometimes reality. What is it? What is that commercial? Life comes at you fast.
You want some old Ferris Bueller, but yeah.
I'm just saying, reality sets in quick than a mug sometimes, and it is what it is what it is. It should have been expected. I mean, I expected it, not like that, but I expected it. But
you expected it. You expected it to go down the way it went down.
I don't be like, talk to me nice. I don't ever say talk to me nice, but
Yeah, I know somebody who want to talk to me nice. I know somebody who better talk to me nice is down there in the chat, and that Caesar, because I caught the little slick comment that he made yesterday, and that's because I ain't been on the scene as much this past week. Don't mean I don't see everything. So Caesar tread very lightly today. I just want to let you know, tread very lightly, especially later on this evening, because just because you won't want to do some things don't mean you're gonna be able to do them. So you can take that as you will, my brother.
He said he'll meet you at the Wawa.
Nah, Caesar out here being slick. Yeah, man, we got a lot of things popping off. We briefly mentioned your game yesterday, which we're gonna get into, but let's start from the top, man. Let's start with that Chiefs game yesterday. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs took care of business 27-20, but it wasn't all Patrick. And bro had me scared a little bit yesterday when that ankle got rolled up on.
Man, so I was out at Virginia Tech yesterday because Jada's team came down to the Hokie Invitational. Well, part of her team came down to the Hokie Invitational, so I was out there. Got the chance to see her for a couple of days, so we got to hang out. So we were at the track meet, and I had it on my phone, but there was a lot going on because the meet was about to end. So I missed the injury when it happened, but I saw the aftermath with Chad Henry coming in and having to take over for a minute. Actually, with Patrick limping back to hand off the ball to McKinnon that one play, I saw that. I was like, this ain't going to go well.
Yeah, they did their thing though. Andy was prepared. They brought in Chad Henne yesterday, who actually helped lead a 98-yard touchdown drive.
Crazy.
The Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs do what they do. They held on and won a very entertaining game yesterday. And like I always say, you and I have different opinions on it, and things can happen in different ways because of different reasons. Mm-hmm. But then again, I mean, they only beat the Jags by 7. And to me, there's still something to be said about having to win many different ways. Sometimes it's without your quarterback. Sometimes it's in a close game against a team that most people think you're going to blow out. But nevertheless, they got it done.
They did that. Can't be mad at them. I had the Chiefs defense, although they didn't give me but 7 points yesterday. But they got a couple of turnovers, crucial turnovers, as a matter of fact. One in the red zone and then the pick right after that. So could have been game-saving plays by the defense.
Yeah, we got to shout out your former guy, though, Doug Peterson, because, look, man,
no doubt.
Doug Peterson is a coach. Doug Peterson is a football coach. And taking a team that went last season, when they go 3-11, I believe. 3 games, 3 games last year.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he gets into the playoffs and is a game away from the AFC Championship. So you got to shake your head out, take your hat off to that dude, man. Doug Peterson. I wasn't a fan of his when he was in Philly for obvious reasons. I'm a big fan of that dude now.
Yeah, yesterday was beautiful for Philly fans, for Philly fans, in my opinion, to see Doug Peterson on one side, Andy Reid on the other side. That's Eagles greatness right there.
You buying into the foolishness that one of our frequent posters put up yesterday about Mahomes and Travis Kelce? Said basically the comment was made yesterday that basically that's the only person that he really got to throw the football to.
Okay, so here's the thing.
He kept trying to further his point. Look, I told you, Kelce got 10 catches, 2 touchdowns. Now what?
Okay. You're right. As if that was making the point. That was just proving the point that he was going to throw to Kelce regardless, because that's who he the most. However, we've explained it. We've talked about it all during the season. Like I said before the season, I thought Kansas City's offense would be a little slower without having Tyreek Hill,
of course,
as a big option to spread the field, to do a lot of things, and to have somebody to play off of Kelce. But we saw, and we talked about it every other week, it seemed like Patrick Mahomes hits 8 different receivers, 9 different receivers, in a game. We said it multiple times during the season, which proves the point that it's not just Kelce. It doesn't have to just be Kelce. But nobody says that when nobody said that when nobody said that when AR-12 would throw to DA every other play, like he was 80% of the offense. Nobody said that. Even when they doubled him, nobody said he's only got. Nah, it was none of that. It was, if you got the best option, you go to the best option. And playoff time, I mean, these people been to the AFC Championship, 5 years straight, right?
5 of them.
5 years straight. So can it be all Kelce? I guess it can't, because it's been 5 years straight.
Yeah, man. And granted, of course, you're going to throw to your best guy. The guy's a Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest ever played the position. And, of course, you're going to get in those catches. If it takes 10, 12 in the game, you're going to get them. But let's not be crazy. Go back and look at the box scores of the games previous this season, and you'll see plenty of other names on it. So sometimes it might be the guy that gets 2 receptions in the game. It might be that same guy that got 6 or 7, right? So saying that that's all that they have is incorrect. Of course, you better your chances of finding a way to stop, double, or stop Travis Kelce, and you better your chance of getting a victory. But let's not act like this man don't have other people he throws the football to.
Oh, by the way, this is the NFL. I think somebody would have figured that out by now and done it. Like, it ain't like we got to
you know what? Smarter than the coaches.
Will is a Buffalo Bills fan, so he's already in his, I hate Kansas City mode, I guess. So, you got to say something negative about Kansas City. That's probably part of it right there.
I like a lot of Will's posts, but that's another foolishness yesterday. But who knows, though? We may get to see if his people are successful in doing that next week. We're going to find out later on today. if they're gonna get that shot. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, by the way, Caesar, this is Victory Fruit Loops, bro. I haven't had Fruit Loops since I don't know when, but this is Victory Fruit Loops over here. So that's what we're doing. He said it was a
Yeah,
cocoa.
he don't know nothing about that. She don't know nothing about that, but
Caesar, he said you don't know nothing about a playoff victory. Got him.
But yeah. Anyway, man, that was great. But back to you guys yesterday, and for those of you who jumped on late. For those of you who jumped on late, I want everybody arrested. Jalen Hurts, Sirianni, all these people got to go down because that was against the law, what y'all did yesterday. And I feel bad for all my people who were robbed of a great evening last night, ordering Domino's for nothing. You feel me? going to Wingstop for nothing. Anybody had time for that foolishness? You know what I'm saying? Shout out my bro Keith Morris talking about he was about to go watch some old Benny Hill episodes. And this was in the second quarter. Y'all didn't have to do folks like that, man.
I was on the road, man. You know, like I said, we were out of town. I was on the road driving back when the game started. And I actually walked in the door. It was like 5:46 left in the second quarter. But to your point, I know, bro. I know. I know. Out the gate, just attack, retreat, attack. You know, it ain't much to say because I can hype it up. But I mean, we beat the Giants 3 times in one season. I know the second game was without the starters for part of that, but we beat the Giants 3 times in one season. Should we go back to the I still don't believe in the Giants? I can fall back from that. I still don't believe in the Giants because they did play a decent season. They made the playoffs and they won the playoff game. I mean, I don't think any Giants fans can complain about the Giants' output this season. I don't think they couldn't have expected this. At the beginning of the season, you and I talked about who was going to win the division, Philly or Dallas. The other two going to stink. That's actually what we said.
Yeah.
And neither of them actually stunk to the level that we thought they might. So kudos to the Giants for making it as far as they did. But, you know, the buck got to stop somewhere. It stopped last night real hard.
Shout out to the bro, AJ. AJ said, did he turn to Sanford and Son? Folks out here catching up, either watching the reruns or either going back and catching up on some of the streaming shows. You know, would rather watch that than watch that mess that y'all participated in last night.
Hey, they got to blame somebody. Caesar said that they out here blaming Danny Dimes for the loss. They lost because they were not the better team and they were supposed to lose. But the funny thing is, to me, because just moments in the game, the Giants were semi-driving down the field at the beginning. And third down and I don't know what it was. What happened? Daniel Jones ended up tripping over his own teammate's foot. Ain't that terrible? That's tough because that was the beginning of the end. Right, that play right there was the beginning of the end. So if they can,
the start of the ending.
Yeah, start of the mother.
Yeah.
If they convert that, who knows what happens? I mean, y'all still gonna get dragged. They still gonna get dragged one way or the other. But it could have been a better game.
Hey, shout out to my guy. So I don't get down with a lot of Eagles fans, right? You know,
dang.
Yeah, me and you, we family, and but my other guy, one of the coolest Philly fans I've ever met, right?
Who is
so
that?
I always give that brother some respect. I see him in the comments right there. That was my guy. I remember I saw him a few years ago. We both ended out at the Cowboy Philly game together. About a section apart out there out in Texas. So that's my guy. Good morning, my guy.
Who was it?
Richard Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's a good dude right there. That's a good brother right there. Shout out Clark. Clark Griswold's in full effect this season every week. He was gonna be in here repping his guys at the big yesterday. We spoke on Kansas City moving on to their 5th straight AFC championship game. So he got the colors in the comments and everything.
Hey, look, Clark has been hollering about the Kelsey versus Kelsey Super Bowl for at least a month. He's been saying it for at least a month. So we shall see. We still both got another game to go, but we shall see. Ain't too much to say about the Eagles, bro. We said enough. It really ain't nothing to talk about.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Eagles for real.
You ain't got to talk about them.
Don, what's up, bro? Don said he pulled up Math Hoffa at the start of the third and watched the episode with Lil C's. I'd like to see what the final ratings were for that game last night. I guess you get points for clicking in. I guess you gotta think how do they do the ratings? You click on it, and then I guess they go by how long it's tuned in or something. I don't know.
I never knew that. I always wanted to be one of them Nielsen ratings families back in the day.
Yeah. I know I told you I know a few people that dabble in that stuff, and I remember somebody told me that it's different ratings that they use, but certain ratings go by actually how many people turn to that channel, and then sometimes it's how many people went tuned into a certain channel over 10 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. I think you and I had a discussion before on one of the running backs, and I was like, same person that told me that I guess in Hollywood or whatever, what do they do? How is a show deemed a success?
Mm-hmm.
And they said in Hollywood, basically, if a show makes it 3 seasons,
right?
It seems short, but if it makes 3 seasons, Hollywood pretty much deems it a success, right? So, yeah, very interesting, man. But yeah, so shout out to the 2 teams that won yesterday. But we got 4 teams going at it today. And people, I'm not getting into the comments up there. We have some technical difficulties, so we can't get the comments on the screen. But y'all keep everything love in the comments. We appreciate it. But the Bengals travel. Well, I was going to say they're traveling. They're already there to Buffalo, right? To the hottest teams in football right now, high profile. I believe Cincinnati's coming in, winning 9 in a row. The Bills are coming in on an 8-game, win streak. And it looks like that hopefully we're going to actually finally see them get it on. But this time it's for all or nothing, win or go home. And, of course, if you're going to have 2 gigantic matchups, but Sunday's the day to have one. This is how you started off, man. What you think about this Bengals and Bills game?
Shout out to my guy, Cliff Jones, who said that the Saturday night game was a JV game and the Sunday was the varsity. I'll accept it. Disrespectful, but I'll accept it. Anyway, excuse me. I think last year I picked Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl. I think last year. And I think this year I picked Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl. I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
You did.
Unfortunately, we were, and I don't want to say robbed. It was an unfortunate circumstance that we didn't get to see this matchup a couple weeks ago. Thankfully, Demar's doing better, and hopefully he has a full recovery. Just want to throw that out there. As far as this game, man, this thing is going to be a barn burner. This is probably my favorite game of the weekend, for real. I think the key to this game is Joshua. I ain't going to give him a middle name yet. It's a little early. I'm going to give him a couple more years. I might have to hit him with a middle name. But Joshua Allen has to take care of the ball in the red zone.
Say it again.
Joshua Allen has to take care of that ball in the red zone. If he does not, it's not going to end well. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you right now, Prime. I actually picked Cincinnati. This is a coin toss, but I did pick Cincinnati only because I've seen Josh Allen so many times this season turn that joint over in the red zone, regardless at home or on the road, that I'm like, you can't play with Cincinnati like that. So, for that reason, and that reason alone, I'm leaning towards the Bengals.
It's a tough one to pick. And he made some great points on that. Bengals are scaring me a little bit, dealing with what they've been dealing with the past couple of years. But they got linemen out now. They got 3 linemen out. So
right.
you already have an issue when you have your starters. But then 3 of those starters are supposedly not playing today, right? And we know how Buffalo likes to get down. I'm loving the receivers on both sides of this. Jamar Chase, 9 straight games, at least 7 catches. So you know he's going to be force-fed the ball. We're going to be watching Stephon Diggs, who already has 3 100-yard playoff games. He's only second in Bills history right now to one Andre Reed. So you know they've been looking to get him to rock. So it's a lot of things we've been looking for. So let's start with this. We're going to pick the keys to victory for both teams. And I'm going to start with the Bengals, right? I think the key for the Bengals to win is to basically on offense to get the other guys involved. And the 2 guys I'm looking at is Hayden Hurst at the tight end and, of course, Tyler Boyd. I think those guys will come up big. A lot of times if you're going to get at Buffalo, when you have time to throw the football, it's something about that seam and it's something about the middle of the field. That teams have been able to have some success with them, playing Buffalo Bills. So I think those guys, Hurst and Boyd, are keys in this game because you know what the effort you're going to get from everybody else. And I also think the key for is the Bengals defensively to employ a lot of blitzes from the outside from that slot, and especially if you can guess right. Because if you can guess right coming off that edge, and that's the side that Josh is going to, right, I think you can have a whole lot of success. What you think the keys for the Bengals?
I think the key for the Bengals is Joe Mixon on the ground. Joe Mixon on the ground. I do like your point, though. When you look at Cincinnati's offense across the board, they like a strong 5. They got strong 5 options. It's not a lot of teams that have a strong 5 option. And if you think back a couple of years ago, before Chase, Boyd was pretty much the number 1, worst case number 2, like 1-2 on the whole offense. So it's not like he hasn't been the guy before. So we know he can get it done. I like the Hayden Hurst mentioned as well. It's tough to cover any of their 4 that'll be on the front line one-on-one from their spot. But I do think Joe Mixon is going to have to tote that rock a little bit. And, we probably, if just off cuff, just looking at the 2 teams, we probably would expect a whole lot of points a lot of times. But I think we're going to keep it down low. So Mixon's going to have to carry that rock and chew up that clock a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. On the Bills side, I think it's simple. You already mentioned just protecting football. I think with them, we know how explosive they can be. You got to protect. It's funny saying this. You got to protect Josh Allen from himself. And I think the way to do that is to find a way in the short game to get things going. Because we've seen some explosive plays running and out of the backfield by guys like James Cook, who has really come up. If you want to try to limit the turnovers from Josh Allen and key points, find a way to work that short game. Everything else will take care of itself. They're going to be what they're going to be defensively. I do think, though, things get a little testy out there with the hand play. I want to see how much they're going to let the Buffalo corners play because they're going to have to. One thing about Cincinnati's receivers, they're all physical. They all can get physical with you. So just how much are they going to let White and them play out there in that secondary? But they got to be careful. But don't even let it come down to that. Work that short game offensively. Let Josh do what he does. But if you can limit the chances he has to take and get out of that gunslinger mentality a little bit, for the better. Because one thing, if Cincinnati can't do nothing else, they can turn you over. Yeah. Watch Mike Hilton. Watch Jesse Bates. These guys will turn over the football. So, but the Bills just got to stay away from the turnovers, man. But I'm still taking the Bengals. I got the Bengals winning this thing 30-27. Joe Burrow going back to the AFC Championship game.
I like what you're saying there, Prime. I'm going to keep it lower than that. And I'm going to go 26-23 Cincinnati. Tre'Davious White did play well, especially early last week. I liked the way he balled out. But, yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough I don't think it's going to be enough this week, Buffalo. So now Will is going to be double mad at us because disagreed on the Kelsey thing, and now we both picking Cincinnati.
Be a little upset. But I know the good brother will be on the page today, especially if we wrong.
Absolutely.
Let's get on to what I call, that's a big game. That's a big game. But this is just as big because we got way more Cowboy and 49er fans in the group than we do Cincinnati and Buffalo fans. So a lot of talk been talked, mostly by the non-Cowboy engine, I might add, even though y'all do not want to admit that. And some poking and pride been going on, but a lot more San Francisco talk in the SBP, folks sticking out their chest. So here we are. We come to a game that always in the past has lived up to the hype. There's a lot of history behind it. Whether you go back to the 90s or the 80s, I told you before, there's only been really two moments that on the negative side that affected me emotionally ever as a kid that actually had my eyes water up. And that was losing a NFC championship game to the Washington Redskins back in the 80s. And of course, losing the catch, which I still hate to watch. And I have only been up out of my bed maybe 3 hours. And I'm telling you, I guarantee you I've seen it at least 8 times flash across my television.
Really?
Yes, that's all they're showing. So even especially Chris Berman talking about, I know because I was there. Okay,
He was.
He was there. But here it is, man. We have a game that last year was actually in the wild card round. Of course, the 49ers winning that one 23-17. Cowboys were a few dumb plays and also ran out of time in that one. And actually a pretty competitive game. But we here now. So all the talking is done. The guys got to strap it up and play. What you feeling?
I think I've said this since week 12, 13?
I agree. I already know what you're going to say. I agree with you.
San Francisco is a problem. Like, they're a problem in like every phase of the game, though. That's a real issue. On the ground, in the air with Purdy. Defensive, especially against the run. But where you might have a chance. Are
you saying there's a chance?
In the passing game. There might be a chance in the passing game. There would have to be a supremely confident quality Dak Prescott showing today. Look, I know people in the SBP, people everywhere. Oh, Dallas played a perfect game last week. It was so great. Listen, I don't care what none of y'all say. Not one of y'all after the first 2 drives was on some, oh, this is going to be great. Y'all was shook. I was shook for you because y'all look crazy. Y'all look crazy early in the game. If you can't admit that, I understand people are homers and you love your squad, but if you can't admit that y'all was looking crazy at the beginning of last week's game, then, we can't really talk. I know Prime already knows. We already talked about this. It looked crazy at the beginning of the game. However, things, a couple plays went the right way, and the snowball effect happened. Plus, Dallas was better than Tampa Bay. I don't care that Tampa Bay was at the crib. The only thing Tampa Bay had going for them is the legacy of Tom Brady and being at home. The legacy of Tom Brady. It had nothing to do with his play on the field this season. It had nothing to do with their team because they were 8-9 coming into this game. Dallas was clearly the better team, but you never know what Dallas team is going to show up, just like you never knew what Tampa Bay team was going to show up. If a good Dak shows up and spreads that ball around, and Tony Pollard gets that thing on the side, near the sideline a couple times, get some space, Dallas can put up some points in this game. I'm just saying. I think San Francisco is the best team in the NFC. Said it for weeks, but I do think Dallas can put up some points today.
Maybe. Yeah, I agree in large part of what you said. It's a lot of it is, can we get anything close to what we got from Dak Prescott last week? But I'm going to echo this too. Understand that I need to get all aspects of what I got last week from the rest of the team, because a lot of people were praising Dak Prescott, as they should, but the team itself played, close to lights out. I mean, for majority of that game. So it's going to take a total team effort, but definitely we don't need Mr. I'm going to freeze up today, eyes get big, Dak. And shout out to all the people. First of all, let me shout out to my people, Cheryl Parker, because you know how much love I got for Cheryl. We've longtime friends. But she was quick to jump and point out about her guy, Dak, right? And I was happy for Dak. I was happy for her. But that was just one game. We've got a ways to go, and Dak is going to have to put together another solid effort today. Especially if things don't go right as quick as they did, because they only had to survive, 2 drives last week, and then finally things started clicking, right? May have to be prepared of the possibility. I mean, it could take longer than that. We don't know how this game is going to unfold, right? But is this the time? Is this the time that we've seen so many quarterbacks' careers that either they can't get over the hump, there's questions about them, and then all of a sudden the switch gets turned on? That's been down there. Either people think they didn't have it, or they've been waiting for it to get turned on. Is this the time? Dak is you on that stage now, bro. You are on that stage. So let's put this. You got to put that out of that Bucs situation behind you there, and you go against a much better team. You say the best team in the NFC. I say the best team in the league, in my opinion, in the San Francisco 49ers. I thought a rich guy like you might decide to go and take that trip down there. I saw the ticket prices was off the chain. They was like the average range, like $1,400 on average. Cost you about $606 just to get into the standing room joint, only joints.
Mm.
Yeah, so I saw one of the homies that I know that I met years ago, and we Facebook friends. He actually lives in Carolina. He went to the game. His whole shot, he's sitting upstairs, bro. He's sitting up in somewhere near the top. His joints were like 800. So shout out to all y'all with that type of cash.
Hey, SBP, real quick, SBP. 1 for Dak Prescott, 2 for Brock Purdy. Who you taking right now going forward? I don't even mean for today. I mean going forward at the start of next season. Who are you taking? 1 for Dak Prescott, 2 for Brock Purdy. I'm just trying to create some entertainment, controversy, and some foolishness in the chat. That's all.
Shay Hassan, Dallas is the best team? ? He must be responding to somebody in the text, because I don't. Either he heard us wrong, or
it's Caesar. It's Caesar. If you go back, Caesar is doing his thing where he's, complimenting the Cowboys and Dak Prescott in order to bring his Caesar curse onto them.
Well, I see the Dak, the GOAT, and all that.
That's
Tread
it.
lightly, Caesar. Because I listen to the people. I just want you to understand. And I know what they may be shouting, possibly by the end of the day. So I listen to the people. Got love for you, Caesar. You my guy, but I'm a man of the people.
He's a man of the people.
So I'm just saying, you take that as you want. Some of y'all get it, some of y'all don't. But anyway, that's interesting, because we're looking at Dak Prescott and the problems he's had and the successes that he's had, right?
Yeah.
What is Purdy? Purdy's come in. He's undefeated as quarterback since taking over.
Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I didn't have. We haven't talked about Colin Kaepernick this whole time. We've never talked about. It just clicked in my brain when you said that. Even though I think they have to win 3 more games. I think that would be like 14 games straight. No, 11 games straight for Purdy. 11? That seems like a lot.
He took over. He didn't take over till what week did Purdy take over? 14?
Yeah, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. and last week. Yeah, 5 games. Okay, 5
Yeah.
games. So 8. It'll be 8 total. If he makes it all the way through
Yeah,
and wins it all.
possible.
It just hit me, Colin Kaepernick. Although it was an injury, it was an injury that brought Kaepernick to the forefront. But even when Alex Smith got healthy, Kaepernick was still there, and they made that run to the Super Bowl. Interesting. I don't know why that just clicked in my brain, and I haven't thought of that before though.
Yeah. Something else to talk about, man. While we waiting to these people, how these people feel about these quarterbacks, man. Um, the McCaffrey situation. These people are 11-0 since they traded for Christian McCaffrey. Problem. Problem. I hope it ain't a problem today, but that is a problem. So that's another weapon that they didn't have at their disposal last year coming into this matchup in the playoffs.
Shay, what's up, man? I didn't even realize that was you. I saw the last name and it threw me. I didn't even realize that was you. What's up, Shay? Yeah, yeah. And like we've talked about a couple times, there was a lot of those San Francisco 49er fans that were like, hey, I don't want no Christian McCaffrey. Who wants a Christian McCaffrey? All he does is get hurt. I don't want no Christian McCaffrey. Now look at you. Now look at you. He real quiet.
Y'all can get him back.
Right now.
Right now. Go on. Y'all ain't want to go and get him back. Send it back, bro. Who was number one? When you said 1 and 2, who was one? Dak?
Dak, yeah.
So
everybody that picked 1 is a Dallas fan outside of Caesar. So, but everybody that picked 2, well, everybody that picked 2 is a 49ers fan.
Interesting. Yeah, so McCaffrey's that guy. Cowboys gonna definitely have to try to scheme against him. I'm more also just like everybody else gonna be watching the defense, right? So on the defense, of course, you got big names on both sides. Of course, Micah Parsons, the man during the regular season, led the NFL in quarterback pressures. On the other side, though, who most people believe may be the defensive player of the year, your boy Bosa, led the league in sacks. So you got heat coming from both sides. On the 49ers side of the field, we've got some other names that we've heard over the years, and you're used to hearing, the Armsteads and some of the other guys, right? They are deep. Cowboys do it a little bit different. Because even outside of DeMarcus Lawrence, who's been kind of quiet the past few weeks, but he's been a soldier, hobbling around on that broken bone or whatever he has. I'm doing this thing. You've got some names that have been making plays, man. A key today, Leighton Vander Esch. Say what you want about Leighton Vander Esch, but when things are everybody thought he was expendable. Just because they never talk about him, but he is so key to what Dallas does in the short passing game, especially in the center of the field and in the run game. So I think you got to watch him. I think on the 49ers side of football, you just know what they're going to do, right? They're going to tee off on you. They don't really have to come at you with the blitz. That front four is formidable along, but they come at you. And I think that's key because I only think they have one difference, and I think that's back there in that secondary, one weakness. If you can find a way the way Stidham did and a couple of the other guys did to get back in that secondary, I think you had some success. And I expect so I would say the key for the San Francisco 49ers in that is first of all, I would find out, do I even need to blitz against the Dallas Cowboys? Can my front four handle business? Can we contain the run? We know they tops against the run, so it's going to be interesting to see how Cowboys try to attack that, right? But I find if I'm the 49ers, I find out, do I even need to blitz? Or can I just sit back in the zone? And do you know why I say that? Dak is horrible against the zone. The most interceptions this season versus zone coverage, right? So do I even need to send a lot of people, or can I just sit back? So it's going to be interesting to see that chess match there. But just if I'm the Niners, I found out what I need to do, and then that's what I stick with. I may not have to go all out to be dominant to win this game. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, though, it's two things I think the Dallas Cowboys need to do to win this game. I know people going to try to the obvious. I know they tops against the run in the Niners, but you still try to run the ball. You do what you do last week. Well, it's not that easy as saying you do what you did last week. It's a whole different game plan. A defense is 5-6 times better than what you played last week. If I'm the Cowboys, if I'm not having any success running the ball with the backs, if that's the case, I'm going to find a way to at least mix it up a little bit, whether it's successful or not. And what I mean is, with the RPOs and the jet sweeps, I'm finding a way maybe to get CD the ball, on a few of those coming back there. I don't know. Maybe you want to throw Hilton and that bring Kayvon Turpin in. You find a way to try to match what the Niners are going to do, because the Niners game plan is going to be for quick stuff. That's what Shanahan likes. Not for Brock Purdy to have to hold the ball a lot, right? Because the one weakness, even across that O-line, you can get at them up the middle a little bit. And if you go back and look, I just mentioned that DeMarcus Lawrence has been kind of quiet, but those D tackles in Dallas have been pretty darn good. Mainly my man Odigizua has been on fire the last 2 weeks. So I figure the Cowboys are going to try to attack them up the middle. I think that's the key for Dallas. See how that middle working, to see if Hankins and Odigizua can get some pressure up there, because Dallas has to find a way to make Purdy uncomfortable. Teams ain't really been able to do it, so they can take away that short game a little bit, those quick passes, and get that pressure up the middle. Now we talking.
Hey, you said you were talking about Van Der Esch a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
So, as somebody who doesn't watch the Cowboys nearly as extensively as you do, Michael Parsons has moved around less as far as jumping into the linebacker spot, covering, and all that good stuff. He's been more up front the latter part of the season, right?
Yep.
Do you think that's because of Van Der Esch playing well? Do you think that's because of his health and trying to keep him healthy? Or do you think they one of those two, I guess, will be one of those two.
I just think it's more or less of just trying to give people different looks. I think Van Der Esch is going to be with Van Der Esch. The Van Der Esch is still not healthy. He was coming back from an injury, and he played very well last week. But I think more or less it's just they move Parsons around just to try to give different looks. And let's not act like the Parsons can't run.
Right.
He fast as I don't know what, bro. Like he can track down some people, whether it's on the outside, switching, coming up the middle. But you also have a guy that can drop back there and give you some help in coverage. And I know when we were at the SBP meetup, I was talking to Twan Towers. And Twan was like, man, if I'm y'all, why y'all always have Michael Parsons back there in coverage, right? Why is he always back in coverage? You need to keep that man on the line, right? And I get it. You see what he can do. You're not used to seeing him back there. Some people who don't really watch the game don't realize that he's really a linebacker, right? They put him on as an edge rusher, so they still can't figure out the fact of why he's back there in coverage. The man got speed. So, we'll see what they do with him today. I think we see him more and more on that offense, on that defensive line. And I think hopefully that they've drawn up some other things that people haven't seen. Because it seems the thing that people think, well, okay, we're going to see Michael Parsons and all he's going to do is rush wide, right? Rush wide, you get him to the outside, even if he gets closer to the quarterback, you buy time, right? So I'm hoping that the Cowboys have drawn up some other things to get him going, move him around a little bit, even a little bit more than they have, and create some mismatches, maybe scare him a little bit. But he's going to need some help, though. This ain't all about Michael Parsons. Understand that. The rest of that D-line, those guys got to get busy, too.
Yeah. I think it's going to come down to the Dallas secondary. Maybe not come down to, but I think the focal point will be the Dallas secondary. Not even will Dallas get pressure up front, because Dallas is going to get pressure up front. One way or the other, they're going to get pressure. Like, that's going to happen more likely than not. But the secondary, will the secondary be able to hold up? That is the question for me anyway. I'm not even worried.
It's really one side.
Good Dak, bad Dak, whatever. If the secondary don't hold up, it ain't going to make no difference. It ain't going to make no difference, because it's going to be a shootout at best. On the San Francisco side, probably the same thing, just secondary play, and being able to cover. A lot of that goes to the other team's quarterback and how they perform as well. It's going to be a good one, though. It's going to be fun. It's gonna be fun. People have been asking me. Well, like last night, I did after the game. I hopped on TikTok and did 3 hours all Philly music, straight Philly music, with the Eagles logo in the background. All that was just wild. But people kept coming in and being like, "Who you want to play, Dallas or San Francisco?" I don't care personally. I don't care, but I know that personally, I think San Francisco is better, and I do think San Francisco is going to win. The amount of pressure that would be placed upon all the shoulders in a Dallas Philly NFC Championship game would be out of control. It would be out of control. I might have to be in these streets next Sunday if Dallas wins this game. I'm just saying. I might have to be in these streets somewhere. But anyway, I got San Francisco getting the dub 30-24. Good game, entertaining, and unfortunately, Dak with an untimely pick to end the game.
Doesn't this feel like that the winner of this game, it could be something that's untimely, like, or something like it's got to be drama?
Yeah.
Could it be the Dak Prescott interception? Could it finally be Purdy breaking down and he throws the interception?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Could it be through all the missed extra points last week? My man nails a 50-yarder to win it. Man, I don't know, because it's crazy. It's crazy. It feels like this is one of those games that it could come down to a particular play that just spoils it for one team, man. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Very interesting to watch. My man's out there missing extra points like Lamar, but he been money from like 50 plus.
He had a bad. I'm glad I saw the clip of him going to sit by CD Lamb, and Lamb, being like, "Man, you bailed us out a bunch of times, just a bad moment." It was a horrible moment. It was a horrible moment. But thankfully for Dallas, it made no difference whether he made them or not. Nothing was going to change in the game. He was just stuck in that bad moment. And if it comes down to Mar and he knocks down a field goal and Dallas stuck with him after last week, it'll be a pat on the back to the Dallas staff for not throwing him in the trash and going and finding the best kicker out in these streets, because he had one horrible blip this season.
I hope it doesn't affect the Cowboys, the fact that, and of course it happens to teams all the time every year, but Dan Quinn's name been crazy this
in
week
streets.
In these streets. And I think I saw that they completed an interview already. I don't know if was it the Broncos or the Colts? Somebody, but anyway, his name is heavy in these streets. About 5 teams attached to it as of this point. So unlike last year, when he undoubtedly, and let it be known that when his name popped up that now I want to stay here with Dallas.
Yeah,
it's pretty close to obvious that he's probably not going to be in Texas next year unless he has his name. He's going to go out and do these interviews, and then unless he's the Texans coach. But anyway,
that's what I thought you was going to say. Yeah. That's what I thought you was going to say.
Unless he has these interviews, but there's really only 1 or 2 teams that he actually wants, and then those jobs actually get taken before he makes his decision, and I can see him returning. But right now, it ain't looking good.
It ain't
looking good. And something I wanted to bring up real too that I'm watching with Dallas, man, it has me worried, is Javon Curse, because as of right now, he's still questionable. He's got dinged up each of the last 2 games. So important in what he does, especially when they run that 3 safety set with him, Hooker and the hammer, Donovan Wilson, out here knocking cats out. So I'm real worried about that, man. But so it's going to be interesting, man. So yeah, I think a couple of players we didn't talk about. Can CeeDee Lamb get busy? What'll be a great time? What's going to be a great time? We're talking about Dak and his progression and putting another notch under his belt. Maybe the lights come on. What'll be a great time for CeeDee to go out and ball out and prove that he actually is a number 1 receiver. You know what I'm saying? Nine aside, we can talk about McCaffrey and all of them all we want to, but nobody been singing the praises of Ayuk, who has been that dude for them this year after questions about him last year. And Of course, Kittle having success. Tight ends always do against Dallas. So I just hope it lives up to the hype that your game didn't last night.
Sorry.
Cowboys, 30-28.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. I love it. Prime has Lamar knocking down a field goal to win it all. He didn't say
I hope
that.
it don't come to that because my nerves gonna be shot up in here.
and if y'all would be down in order for that to happen, you're 30-28. So y'all would have to be down. You'd be bald by the end of this jump because you'd have pulled all your hair out waiting on that clip.
Interesting, man. So hopefully we get a great day of football, man. Let me check and see.
I don't know if you have it written down, but I got to ask though.
What?
What's your take on Uncle Shay versus the Memphis Grizzlies?
They don't want that smoke, man. They say they don't want it. Man, let me tell you, man. People talking about and first of all, Dylan Brooks need to go sit down somewhere, right? Like he's getting dragged across social media, calling Shannon Sharpe a spectator. I'm like, just the ultimate disrespect. I don't think young boy want none of them old man problems. I don't think he wants any of those problems. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think T. Morant really wanted them problems either. They cool now, they made up and but I think he didn't want them problems. Just something about these younger folks these days just always gotta say something to me. That's because you don't care about it about it, don't mean they're not relevant. But yeah, I think Uncle broke Dylan Brooks in half.
Yeah. See, I don't have a problem with anything Shannon Sharpe did. I don't have a problem with anything Shannon Sharpe did because now that is if and only if what he said to Dylan Brooks at the beginning is what he said. Mm-hmm. He said, "You are too small. You can't guard LeBron." Fans talk, and there's nothing reckless about that. That's regular. Dylan Brooks saying "F you" was the initial issue.
Yeah.
And he didn't expect the response. The response matched your energy. That was it. The rest of that stuff was just posturing. But yeah, the only person that might have wanted anything to do with anything is Steven Adams. That's it. And he didn't really want to. He was just defending his guy because he knows he is the Ja Morant protector. So other than Steven Adams, nobody going. And plus, it's basketball versus football. You don't you don't want the football smoke. Like that's different. Basketball players don't want to do that. Generally speaking,
talk a lot. I look at some of these people. Everybody is fake. This Facebook, social media. They get their chest poked out a little bit in front of people and just talking all types of stupidness. But I saw a couple of posts from people to the fact of but Shannon Sharpe can do all that and get his chest poked out and all this out there, but he won't do it to Skip. You gonna let Skip talk crazy to you. And I'm like, first of all, what are we talking about here? This apples to oranges. But if you really wanted to get into that, so soon as Skip would have been, if it was an incident that escalated between them and something took place like that, then the man lose his job, right? He go put his hands on Skip.
He going to jail.
What y'all gonna say then? You know what I'm saying?
If I shoot you, I'm brainless. If you shoot me, you're famous.
Yeah. And then standing by their takes. When people in the comments are straight roasting and frying, they say, yeah, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, come on, man. Y'all think that Shannon Sharpe is that dumb. First of all, it ain't the same type of situation. But second of all, it's not that dumb to let somebody get you out of character enough just to go out and lose your job. Unless you want to lose your job.
And you at work. He won't at work at a basketball game.
Yeah. But even though I did see somebody talking about something about some shareholders, doesn't matter if he was on the set, he was at a game. I'm sure the shareholders will have a conversation with Shannon when he gets back to the office on Monday.
You know who said that? I ain't gonna say it. Eagles won yesterday. I ain't even gonna say it. I don't feel like arguing with nobody. I'm chilling.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, these people are crazy, man. These people are crazy. But let's do this, man, for the last thing before we peel out. And I wanted to have the photos up, but like I said, we were having technical difficulties, but we can still discuss it.
Okay.
Our last thing. Nobody we already talked about them. Where do these guys end up? And it's the way too early. What do these guys end up? But we're gonna go ahead and talk about it mainly because they're in the news right now. We got 4 quarterbacks. 4 quarterbacks, and one of them, I wish it was his retirement last week, but I don't think that it is. His season got ended by the Dallas Cowboys, and that would be one Tom Brady, right? So everything is coming out of Tampa, where a lot of the players believe, based on what he said to them, that he is not returning to Tampa Bay. So I don't think really many of us believe that he is going to retire, right? No matter whether we think he should or not. Where do you see him playing next year?
Tom Brady to the Colts.
Do that to that man. Don't do that to that man. He might retire. That was his last option.
I have no idea what Tom Brady's going to do, bro. Like this, I wish he'd go home personally. I can't even call him Aloysius anymore. After this season, I might have to revoke Aloysius from his name because that's not the Tom Brady I want to see. Although I am a proponent of people doing whatever they want to do as long as they can do it. Because once you don't do it, it's over. You can't do it no more. It ain't like you're coming back in 10 years and play football again. You're not. Right. So once you leave, for real, then you're going to be gone. So I get it.
You know what's crazy, though?
What's that?
The Raiders be the one to call him from what everybody is talking about. And I'm like, how, y'all really going to welcome in Tom Brady, you of all teams?
Just because you're in a new city don't change a thing. Your name is still the Raiders.
What are you going to tuck your feelings away and get and bring that man into the black and silver?
Like, Charles Wilson somewhere like nope. Mm-mm.
Like that would be ridiculous. Now I'll tell you what the perfect situation for Tom Brady would be. It's all speculation, but of course, a lot will be depending on what happens here today or the next few weeks or the next couple of weeks. San Francisco 49ers.
Get out of here, Prime.
So, yeah, look, you know how I am about people playing for the teams that they grew up being fans of, right?
Yeah.
That's one. 2, they are a ready-made organization. So you ain't going out here hoping to get over. You got one of the most outstanding defense in the league. You got a killer to throw the rock to. You got McCaffrey to hand it off to and dip it to. You got one of the most innovative coaches in the game. They ready to win right now.
They ready to win today.
So depending on when, say the 49ers don't win, and that'd be a hard sell, of course, if let's just say Purdy takes the 49ers on, they win the Super Bowl, he plays well, that'd be kind of a hard sell. But if they don't win it, you think about this. You're still winning because Purdy, even though it looks like he may be ready to play right now, you get a year or so behind the goal. So,
hey, man, San Francisco got 3 quarterbacks.
Do they? I don't believe that situation going to look the same by the time we get to next year.
Yeah.
Even with Trey Lance.
Fair. That's fair.
Trey Lance might not be in a Niner uniform next year. So, you ready to win now? There it is. Next up, what about your guy, the cyborg? Your guy, not my guy. Your guy, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he was my guy for San Francisco last year. I was hoping that was going to be a thing. Not really hoping, but thinking that was a possibility for him as a California native. I got nothing. I got nothing for Aaron
The key
Rodgers.
is, so I think he would be old. He's taking like 58,000 or something on it that would have to be paid. The
Who?
thing is, he would have to
58
find
million?
huh?
Million?
Million.
Yeah.
I said 1,000, didn't it?
I'm
58. Yeah, yeah. I'll look this up on the screen.
one day.
Yeah, 58 million. You're right. 58 million that would have to be paid out. And the thing is, they're a team willing to take on that salary and to make the trade. Because Adam Schefter has reported this morning that there are the possibilities. I'm talking to people that it could happen. Yeah.
It would.
They can entertain trying to find a trade partner. So you would see Aaron Rodgers not in the Green Bay uniform next year.
Well, I don't want him to come to Washington, but if you want to send him somewhere with some weapons and some things that could happen, don't send him to Washington.
We don't want nobody to go to Washington.
I mean, I don't want him to go to Washington. I'm just saying. You look around, you see receiver, you see a couple backs, decent defense, nice defensive rush. Worst things have happened.
I don't know if somebody's gonna pay that money, but you never know unless he goes somewhere and replaces somebody else, another big name.
He can go coach. He can go coach and start at quarterback in Arizona. Ain't nobody doing that out there.
Well, what about Lamar?
That's the question that I was waiting for you to get to, because I'm like, dog, what do you do? Now I know you well, first of all, have the Colts for real. Have the Colts made a decision on Jeff Saturday?
They've been talking to other people.
Okay, I'm just making sure that he is not going to be there. I'm just thinking about your boy. And if he was standing beside somebody like Lamar Jackson, what their running game would look like, because it would be kind of crazy. It would be a problem.
Jonathan Taylor, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it would be a problem. I don't see that happening. I don't want anybody coming to the NFC East for real. But would you be open to a Lamar Jackson in a New York Giants uniform?
Now, I would never be open to it because I don't want nobody coming to the NFC East. Right? And that does raise a fair question after Shannon last week, and then, of course, getting the brakes blown off from last night. Are they done with Daniel Jones?
They're probably
that would be interesting.
They're probably not, but
that would be interesting. Him and Saquon. I think with Lamar, what I would like to see now, of course, Harbaugh's come out and said they're totally committed to him. He's going to be there. We've seen this before in the past with, that organization, because they the type of organization every 3-4 years they like to make that splash and trade somebody who they just gave some money to. So I think even if he gets franchised, which I know that he doesn't want to happen, he can get franchised and knowing that organization and still get traded. Baltimore operates a little differently than a lot of teams if you go back and look at the history. But I'm going to tell you, I think two things I would like to see happen for Lamar Jackson. One, we're talking about a young team that has potential. I wouldn't mind seeing them in Atlanta. Young receiver Drake London, Kyle Pitts at tight end. Of course, I still think they go out and try to find another tight end. Of course, a young running back. I think they may have found a running back in Algier. I wouldn't mind seeing him. But the real thing is, if you really want to get this man some help, find a way to get him with D-Hop, because you heard Arizona is strongly to believe that they're going to be shopping D-Hop, partly per his request, to my understanding. Once everything is all said and done, is it a way to get these two together? Get that man the receiver help, man.
I saw before when they fired Greg Roman, when they let Greg Roman go in Baltimore last week, I said, well, Lamar's out of there, because I connect Lamar and Greg Roman just like it was Kaepernick and Greg Roman in San Francisco. Then they come with the story saying that Lamar Jackson will be in the discussion of who's hired as the OC. Now I'm up in there. I'm like, it's not the keys to the car, but it's pretty close to the keys
Well,
to
you
the
got to
car.
say that if you're in hopes you want to get that man, if you want to satisfy that man, you got to say the right things.
Do you think that's not real?
I'm not saying it's not real. They may say that because I understand how desperate the situation is now, but is he going to say that?
The safe face. Gotcha.
I also saw something new. Who was it? It was one of the former players. I can't remember who it was. Made a comment about Greg Roman too, and they said one of the reasons that the Ravens, you never see any big name receivers in Baltimore, because it's widely known that Greg Roman loves to concentrate more on the running game and work with tight ends, but not so much the wide receivers, putting the wide receivers in position. And this is a former NFL player that said that. Now, Darren, I'm about to dig it up. And he said that was one of the strong beliefs why Baltimore hasn't really had a big name receiver over the past few years.
That's fair.
But big name receivers don't plan on becoming.
Yeah. I can see that. That makes sense. I guess. Yeah.
Well, whether it makes sense or not, Lamar need a receiver, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Or receivers.
Imagine, I was about to say, imagine two. Yeah.
Or receivers. Last would be Derek Carr. Derek Carr. I feel bad for Derek Carr because I don't know the brother personally, but every time you see him, he seems is like such a likable guy.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Crying and praising the Lord. That's all he does.
And he's pretty much this past week he put something out, also pretty much signaling that he's gone. Outside of the reports we heard, the past couple of weeks, but thanking the people how much he love him. Now, this is a guy for some reason that I feel like would be a likely person to end up somewhere like Washington.
Interesting.
And I don't want him to go there either because I like him.
I was thinking more like
the
Atlanta.
type of quarterback that they would end up with in Washington.
I was thinking of Atlanta. Who'd you say to Atlanta?
I wouldn't mind seeing Lamar going to Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
If he were to not be in a Ravens uniform.
Right. You know where? I mean, this isn't unless Tua just laid down and I don't want to say nothing negative, but if Tua wasn't playing, Derek Carr would get busy in Miami. In my opinion, I think he'd get busy in Miami. People was probably question him and be like, he just get. They would treat him like people had treated Ryan Tannehill early, like right when he got to Tennessee. He only throwing for this many yards because he got Derrick Henry in the backfield. Or they'd say Derek Carr is only throwing for this many yards because he's got two of the best receivers in the game on the field at the same time. So, but I think he'd get busy in Miami.
But that was funny because we were talking about Brady earlier, and of course that came up again because we heard about the situation last year with Tom Brady, and the thing is everything just lies in the just lies out there now because we don't know what they're going to do in Miami with the whole Tua situation.
Right.
And could this end up where Brady ends up? Could this end up where the minds of we don't know. That's got to be like one of the craziest situations ever to have that type of talent, but just not knowing what the future holds, for your quarterback.
Man, been concussed quite a few times, especially within the last 6 months.
Indeed. So we're gonna see. You got anything else out there need to discuss?
No, I don't actually. But I will say again, y'all missed last night. I know y'all don't care, but the all Philly mix, I was up till on 2:30, 2:45. Getting busy after the Eagles won all Philly from Patti LaBelle to Hall & Nose to
On my own.
Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and ended off for like an hour the Roots. So yeah, we had a good time. Follow the TikTok. We get busy. About to hit 25,000, like 20 people away from 25,000 followers on that joint. So if you are on TikTok and you don't follow Source, of course, and Prime SBK as well. Do so. You ain't even got to come over and watch nothing. Just follow.
Yeah, so no doubt. Yeah, check my guy out, man. They be getting busy. I know everybody on here is not TikTok folks, but everybody uses it for different reasons. But come on through and check him out, man. Stuff is highly entertaining. Highly entertaining. What you got on the menu today? Anything particular for these games today?
Now I was gonna jump on, but like I said, I was thinking it was 1 and 4:30 today, not 3 and 6:30. So now I'm rescheduling my day in my brain.
Come on, man. Cowboys playing, man. They got to put it out there.
You're right. You're right, because when the Cowboys are on, all eyes Tupac style, all eyes on me. Well, all eyes.
You see. I ain't complaining about it, but you understand. You see what they did to us already. We already running short, right? But
don't come on, Brian. Don't do it, Brian.
No, I didn't. Look, I knew that was going to be an issue from the time that it happened, way before the game. Like when I saw before last week, when they were when we knew the Cowboys and the Bucks were going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who didn't instantly think, I said, you know what? That's going to be the Monday night game. Why wouldn't it be?
Right.
It's the Dallas Cowboys, like them or hate them. It's the biggest draw in football and just about all sports, major sports. I mean, let's be real. People going to watch. And Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That's going to be the Monday night game. There's no way that's not the Monday night game. So I think Blake Kelly brought it up in the group. Shout out Blake. And of course, people jumped all on it. And I'm like, well, wow, the man is kind of speaking facts. It's like, I just looked at it like this. I knew it was going to happen when when the match is, it's just going to be the Monday night game. But I also know, and I'm smart enough to know, that had that been another organization, not a Dallas Cowboy, some of those same people that was beating up Blake Kelly would have been crying and complaining.
They'd
have been the ones, oh, man, see, NFL got to do something about this. This and that, man. These people got a 2.5 game advantage on a day advantage. They were resting for 2.5 days. We got to turn around and play. But
I don't doubt it.
When you're a Cowboy fan, you can't say nothing.
So heavy lies the head that wears the crown of being the most, and whatever team for whatever y'all are.
So just like all the folks that cry about Cowboys play every Thanksgiving, but darn well, if your squad was entrenched in every Thanksgiving, you'd be fine with it. So,
yeah. Unless you're Detroit, nobody wants to watch Detroit every season. Nothing against Detroit this season. Just talking about in the past, it's true.
Dan Campbell, no doubt. But that's it, man. We appreciate y'all checking us out in the SBP. We were back this week. Like I said, I was under the weather last week, unable to join. So I enjoyed all the games from the comfort of my bed. But your boy is back up in Adam. We are back. So hope everybody enjoys the games today. Hopefully your team wins today if you're a Cowboy fan. And other than that, if you find in your heart to pray for us, we'll take that too. But we're going to catch y'all next week. If not before then, we out.